Toldot, we're looking at the Kli Yakar. The Kli Yakar tells us on the psukim that we're dealing with Yitzchak going to redig wells. It's like a bizarre story that's happening over here that leads us into the next case of the brachos that go for Yaakov and Esav. It's like, why do we need to know any of this? What relevance does it have to anything that we're doing? So it says the Kli Yakar is going to quote a Ramban, Vayachperu avdei Yitzchak banachal vayimtzu sham be'er mayim chayim. So that is what the pasuk is telling us. It's telling us that when the servants of Yitzchak went and they were able to dig a well, they found this be'er mayim chayim. Kasav Ramban. So the Ramban, and also in the Sefer Toldot Yitzchak, and also in the Sefer Menorah Samaor, they all write, everything that happened to our forefathers are just simply going to be a sign for future generations. Therefore, these three wells are compared to the three Beit HaMikdashos, the three temples. I don't know how to say Beis HaMikdash, right? Shenikru Be'er Mayim Chaim. The Beis HaMikdash is called the Be'er Mayim Chaim, a wellspring of life. Ki Kashem Sha'asu Meriva al Shnei Be'eros, just like they had a fight with the first two wells, Vashlishi Kar Rechovos, and the third one was called Rechovos, which means widening. Kach b'mikdash rishon, so too by the first Beis HaMikdash and the second Beis HaMikdash. Asu almost Meriva Yisrael. The other nations started a fight with the Jewish people. Ashech Rivua till they destroyed it. Aval Hashlishi, but the third Beis HaMikdash Sheyibane. Thank you. Kara Rechovos. That was called Rechovos, which means a widening, which means something that a sense of expansionness. So we're going to see these three names. He's going to present the three names that they called each of these Be'eros, represent each of the Beit HaMikdashos, and he's going to explain in depth why. V'osif ani mishali. So says the Kli Yakar, I want to add for myself. So I underlined what I thought you really needed to know. And I didn't underline, but I'm going to read through it anyway. The pasuk says, because now Hashem has expanded for us, uparina ba'aretz, and we're able to now be fruitful in the land. Ki kafi hanira sha'amar uparina ba'aretz, by the fact that it says uparinu, from like the words of puravu, we'll be fruitful in the land. Ain't no tam l'lashon rechovot. That's not why. Just because of the fact that we can expand in the land, that's why it's called rechovot. That's what it's all about. Let me explain. All of these things that we're going to explain are things that happen to us. And also, that which will also happen at the end of days for us as well. Any questions so far? Chazal tell us, in the first Beis HaMikdash, by Mikdash Rishon, haya matzah umeriva v'sinas chinam benesiya Yisrael shniku roim. What happened was, there was fighting, animosity between the heads of the Jewish people, and those people are called Roim. So when we say over here that there was a fight between the Ro'ei Grar and Ro'ei Yitzchak, when you had this fight between them, who are the Ro'im over here? So the Ro'im is a shepherd, obviously, but the shepherd here represents the leaders of the Jewish people. Kamasha Kasub, as it says, Vakimos Yaleim Ro'im, I'm going to establish for you Ro'im shepherds. The shepherds are going to be the leaders. So it must be that during the times of the first Beis HaMikdash, there was tremendous infighting of the leadership of the Jewish people. The Nechrav Habayis Besiba Hamariva. The reason why the first temple was destroyed was because of the fight Shahaisa Bein Malchei Yisrael and Malchei Yehuda. As we know, the kingdoms totally split. And there was tremendous fighting between between these two major kingdoms of Malchei Yisrael and Malchei Yehuda. But it's different. By the second Beis HaMikdash, Haisamidas Hasina Schinam Ben Kol Yisrael. It wasn't just the leaders; it was everybody. We all hated each other. We didn't hold back with anybody. Everybody hated each other. There was sinna. There was this general hatred that permeated through the entirety of the Jewish people. Ki pasha nega b'kulam ad le'ein merape. The nega, the affliction was so bad, it was like as if there was no one to heal, and therefore it had to be destroyed. Therefore, by the first be'er, the first well, what does it say? The servants of Grar fought with the servants of the shepherds fought with the other shepherds. Lirmos gamla asid, to tell us that in the future there's also going to be another fight between the shepherds of Israel, and that's referring to Malchi Yehuda and Malchi Yisrael. Va'agav Gerara, Ravugam Roe Ha'umosim Yisrael. So not only did it start with the leaders of the Jewish people, but that ended up pulling in the true enemies of the Jewish people, the people that were not Jewish. Al kain kar Shem ber Asek ki his asku imo. Therefore, the first well is called Asek. How do you translate Asek? Fight, right? I guess some sort of fight. You taught Asek then, right?
What you're saying.
You taught this Kliyakar?
Yeah.
The whole thing?
Not as in depth.
Okay.
Third graders.
Wow, that's pretty impressive. Good. Okay, fine. So this will be a review for you, right? Okay, so therefore the whole concept of Asek over here is this fight because it was an internal fighting that happened. There is a difference between those two people that are fighting when you have something you're fighting over versus versus people that just fight for no reason, like he says what happens in our time, says the Kliyakar. This is a distinction between the first two Bate Mikdashos. The hatred that happened by the Roy Yisrael in the first Beis Hamikdash was because of Melucha. They were fighting for something powerful. And because the Jewish people were split, the 10 by 2, right? Naturally, it should be that one kingdom should not ever touch another, which means they can't coexist at the same time. Therefore, each side felt that the other one was jumping into the other person's party, if you will, and therefore there was this tremendous sinna. So he says that there's a viability. There's a reason for the sinna. It's a natural sinna that one would have. But the second Beis Hamikdash, not so. It was for no reason. So we always ask this question on Tisha B'Av, what do you mean, sinas chinam? What's the answer? How do you call it sinas chinam? Who has baseless hatred? Everyone has a reason, right? So why is it called sinas chinam? Everybody knows these answers. Go ahead. Throw it at me. Go ahead.
It's a stupid reason.
It's a silly reason, right?
It's not like for a cause.
Petty.
Or like you irritate me inherently.
You inherently irritate me, okay. But usually, why does someone inherently irritate a person?
They remind you of yourself.
Okay, fine. They remind you of yourself, fine. So it could be that it's petty. Even if it's real, the question is going to be, what about a year from now? Is that really going to bother you a year from now? Right? If that thing you find, is that really going to eat you up a year from now? So for them, they'd say, yeah, it did. But they held on to those grudges. So here he says, everybody would have this just hatred. There would just be this permeated hatred. Sounds familiar? Okay. That's why it's called sinas chinam. I just don't like you. I don't like the way you look at me. I don't like the way I look at you. I don't like the way you look. Okay. It's considered a negative heart that a person has. That's where sinas chinam really stems from, is that your heart itself is lacking, and therefore you have a sense of evil in your heart. You can't look at things with a positive light. Therefore the Satan worked to cause them to fight amongst each other. Skip to the next line. So therefore he says, they're always looking for another reason to hate another person. Therefore when they dug a second well, and they fought on this, in the first pasuk, in the pasukim discussing the first well, they called them roim. In the second pasuk, the word roim, the word ro'eh or roim is not used at all. Why? Because it's no longer just the leaders; it's also every one of the Jewish people. Remez l'rmivas ba'isheni ha'isa b'chol Yisrael. The whole fight was with everybody. Therefore, it's called sitna kilo matzu siba el divrei ribusim. We did not find any reason for their fight itself. The Satan is working to help you find negativity about somebody else. I'm trying to pause before we go to the third one. We always say that as long as the Beis Hamikdash is not built in your days, it's as if you destroyed it, right? So what does that mean? It means that we still have sinna, right? That's a general idea. So I just thought of this question. I don't know if it's invalid at all. So let's say between that 70-year period when the first Beis Hamikdash was destroyed and the second Beis Hamikdash was destroyed, right? So let's say it's year 40 out of 70 years. And they're also promoting this idea. As long as the Beis Hamikdash was not built in your days, it's as if you destroyed it. So we're in year 40 of the first Beis Hamikdash being destroyed, and everyone has to realize, hey, we don't have a Beis Hamikdash right now. Are they believing at that point that we are in violation of Gilei Arayis, Shvichas Dam, and Avodah Zarah? You get the question?
But I thought this says that the first Beit HaMikdash was because there was a parsha between the kings, the leaders.
It's true. So the Gemara says the first Beit HaMikdash was destroyed because of the three cardinal sins. And the second one is Sinas Chinam. But we always say to ourselves, if we, meaning, what was the organization that was running the Tisha B'Av videos between the first Beit HaMikdash and the second Beit HaMikdash? It wasn't the Chavetz Chaim Heritage Foundation, because that was really about Lashon Hara and Sinas Chinam. So what was the organization that was fighting against the three cardinal sins of murder, of adultery, and what's the other one? And Avodah Zarah, right? What were they fight? Was that something that was on their mind, that we didn't build the Beit HaMikdash yet? It's been 40 years. Therefore, we are murderers, we are adulterers, and we are, idol worshippers. Is that what's going through their mind? I just asked the question. I don't know. They had Nebuah, you said.
Right. They didn't expect it to be rebuilt yet. Didn't they?
They didn't expect it to be rebuilt. You mean it was built fourth time?
Yeah, that was the whole thing with Purim, that they were counting, and that's why Achashverosh did his party, because he thought the years had finished.
Right. It's a good question. Meaning, did Chazal at that point have that as well? Like, don't worry about it. There's 60 years left and they're ready to go. Was that what they felt? I don't know.
Did they actually do all those Avera, or they did a technical version of it? People didn't actually go on the street and murder people.
So it seemed they had things that they did that led to murder. Meaning they felt that this person, whatever, I don't know. Somehow it seems they did it, because they did idol worship so also,
But they didn't.
Well, look, we know the kingdoms of Malchi Yehuda and Malchi Yisrael. There were some pretty diabolical kings who killed a lot of people, right? But maybe, as he's saying, the Kliyark is saying it's only in the upper echelons that are causing this to occur. Just presenting my question. I don't think my question has any validity at all, but just presenting the question. Okay, therefore, Be'er Hashlishi, the third well. What happens by the third well? Ki Beis HaMikdash Yibana Al Yidei Melech HaMashiach. The third one will be built through Mashiach. It's machlokas whether it's going to come down in a pillar of fire or it's going to be rebuilt. There's a sefer, I'm trying to remember the sefer, Rav Shechter used to quote the sefer, that he was promoting in the sefer that we have to go out of our way to go ahead, even though there's one medrash that says it's going to come down in fire, there's another that says that you can actually build the Beis HaMikdash yourself. And therefore, we need to create a movement of people that are going to be gathering and collecting and start building the Beis HaMikdash. Right? Literally.
That's kind of controversial.
Literally. It's more than controversial.
Because that Machon HaMikdash's whole thing.
What's their whole thing? Prepare yourself.
No,
but they actually,
You can see it.
They're building the Canaan itself.
I went to someone's house in the old city, and him and his group of people, they would wear big naked huna, and he had it in his house, and they would go to the other side of the wall, to the Arab side, and practice doing stuff.
That's practicing. That's fine.
For when it comes.
No, that's practicing. We're talking about that. According to the Sefer, we should actually go raise funds, start a GoFundMe campaign, for a third Beis HaMikdash, and actually build it. So even though, according to some, it's going to come down in fire, we can also preempt it by rebuilding it. According to that.
Supposed to rebuild it, Till Hashem says now's the time.
Well, there's machlokes. This is one of the reasons why Satmar is against everything associated with Eretz Yisrael, for that reason. Because we're waiting for Mashiach to be declared before we do anything else. But there is a machlokes. All right?
Actually, it feels better to do something proactive, I think.
You started the GoFundMe campaign.
I think it's already been funded.
It's been funded?
If you go to Mechon Mikdash, they already have all the kilns. The only thing they don't have, and I asked them, is they don't have a mizbeach, because it's just too big.
Yeah.
What?
They don't have walls either.
No, I was saying things to put inside of a Mikdash, they have that. They don't have a mizbeach.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They have a whole display of menorahs, which is problematic, I guess, because they follow Shitas HaRambam.
So just to throw you the monkey wrench in the Shitas HaRambam. So the Shitas HaRambam is what we call the Chabad menorah, right? Chabad menorah comes down like that, right? And yet, if you look at the Arch of Titus, it's the curved ones that Moshe Ashkenazim has. Rav Chaim Kanievsky said that the Rambam was correct, right? What does it mean it was correct? It's not because Chabad versus non-Chabad. The reason is the first Beis HaMikdash had it like this, but it doesn't really stand properly when you cut it out of one solid piece of gold. But it stood through Nace. This is if I remember reading this. That it stood through Nace, and therefore the first Beis HaMikdash had it this way, but by the second Beis HaMikdash they couldn't create it that way. So they had it curved.
That couldn't stand?
Why couldn't that stand?
I don't know. It's not the way it's stands. Remember, the ones we have today are pieces put together. The way you build a menorah is you start with a block of gold and carve it out. It has to be carved out in such a way from one solid piece.
That's
So-
what they did in Mechon Kasher. Sorry, I don't know if you
So that's what they did?
No, so they didn't do that because it's very difficult to do. So they melted it into a mold because that's a lot easier. That way.
Ah, okay.
That's clever.
Right. Clever, but they had... No, but oh, he's saying that would work, right? Can you do that?
They think it's kosher.
I don't know.
I mean, if they're wrong, then a lot of people are going to be really mad. I assume.
Well, you just remelt the gold.
Yeah, they're
or
just,
whatever.
you know.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out. Okay, so therefore he says,
Yeah.
Al Kain Nikra Rechovos Ki Az Yarchav Hashem Es Gvulam. The reason why it's called Rechovos, wait, I skipped the line. After Mashiach comes, Ki Ach Shalom Ve'emes B'yam. During times of Mashiach, there'll be Shalom. And therefore it's called Rechovos Ki Az Yarchav Hashem Es Gvulam, because Hashem will widen the land. Ki Bizman Shem Meriva Mitzuya. This is the famous line of the Kli Yakar. At the time when Meriva is found, did you teach this to your kids? Is part of the line?
I don't know where.
Bizman Shemariva Matsuya O Shnei Ivrim Nitzim. Whenever there's fighting, or there's two people that are in some type of altercation. Af biyosam beir gedola ki Antiocha. Even if they were in the largest city, lo nasosam l'shavas yachtav. There's not enough room for us to dwell together. Right? It's this famous line of the world is not big enough for the two of us. Right? So as two people are fighting, it doesn't matter how much room you actually have. The land is not big enough for the two of us to live in the same land. Even if we have acres upon acres, I can't stand being in the same town with you. As long as there's fighting, two people cannot handle each other, no matter how far away they are from each other. Kasher ba'avonenu od hayom minhag zeh matzu b'yadenu. We see this in our time, he says, the Kli Yakar. We see that when people have animosity towards one another, they can't live in the same town, they can't live in the same city. It's too difficult. However, the opposite. Bizman sheshalom al Yisrael, when there's peace, af al pi sheparinu ba'aretz, even though we've spread out in the land, v'yu hadar aleh rabman mode, and there are many people, homes on top of each other. They're just, they're building these massive buildings on top of each other. Mikol makom rechavas yadayim lahem. Still, there's this tremendous sense of widening, this tremendous sense of expansiveness that we have. The ein tsar lahem, and there's no bother. What does that mean? It means as long as there's love, it doesn't matter how much on top of each other and how much lack of space there is. Then as long as we get along, it's fine. As Gemara in Sanhedrin says, I wanted to give you the English of it. Kachai v'rechimtim aziza apute de safira hu shchivan. So he says, there was a certain man who was saying about his marriage as he walked, when our love was strong, we could have slept on the bed that was the width of a sword. Now that our love is not strong, a bed of 60 cubits is not sufficient for us. Well, that's an S over there that I missed, sorry. It should say right over there from you, right? So the key is, says the Kli Yakar, based on this Gemara, that the reason why it's called Rechovos is not simply because of the fact they had more room. It's not simply because there's Shalom, because when there is Shalom, you will feel a sense of expansiveness. It doesn't matter how tightly squeezed people are, how much little room there is, you'll feel a sense of widening and expansiveness. Al Kain Nemar, therefore it says, Ki hechiv Hashem lanu, Hashem has widened it for us. Af al pi sheparinu ba'aretz, even though we've become amassed in the land and we've taken over the whole land, v'yu hadar aleha rabim, and yet there'd be so much overpopulation. Mikol makom ha'aretz of name rechavas yadayim. Still, the land itself is rechavas yadayim, has a sense of expansiveness. V'od shematzinu b'yasheni shemachmas hamachlokas yatsu shleimim. Fine. V'chein rabim min ha'aretz miras yosheba. Al Kain Amar Shabazman Mitzias Hashalom Uparinu Ba'aretz Ki Lo Yitzchu Letzeis Mitocha. When you have this shalom and you have this expansiveness, that's when you have true appreciation for one another, and it doesn't matter where your experience. It doesn't matter what the physical location you're in. You can actually have that value. Unlike when there's machlokas, as it quotes in that Gemara, when there's machlokas, it doesn't matter how far away we are from each other. It's too difficult for us to be near each other. So this is a mindset. It's basically a mindset that a person can have as to how they can actually live their life, and they can get along with everybody, or they can get along with nobody, no matter how much room they have. That is clear. Can you pass up those pages, or just put them in this pile? Feel free to keep your pages. We move on. Any questions?
Yeah, but I'm just saying, you have to, it's hard to make shalom. I get it.
It's hard to make shalom.
It's not
agree. It's not simple.
Like, especially if it doesn't have anything to do with you. Like, what are you supposed to do?
Meaning the fight is nothing to do with you, or you're trying to make shalom between two other people?
You're just an observer.
To two other people fighting.
Yeah.
How do you stop that?
Yeah. No, I'm not asking, but like, yeah, I'm just saying.
What?
The basic question she's saying is that, like, okay, wonderful idea, let's have this Rehovos, but like, the fact is, a lot of people hate each other, and there's nothing we can do about it, right?
Not hate.
Well, you can just.
No, I understand what I'm saying. One of the key things is for people to realize that if you have people, I'm not saying for you, but it's for people to realize, and it's all too often that people are like, look, I don't have it's not me, it's she that's really been a nasty woman, and like, I mean, I would be fine, but she's just, she's just a difficult person to deal with. And they tend to have many of those people that are difficult to deal with. They don't realize that they themselves are people that just can't handle people, and you can't say anything to them. You could just try to be on their best side or whatever and give them brachos. But the Gemara is saying over here, at least the Kli Yakar is suggesting over here, that during third Beis Hamikdash, I guess somehow everybody's psychological issues are going to work themselves out. You're like, I just feel so happy. Like I think I want to sing in the rain. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen, but maybe, hopefully that'll happen,